Welcome back to Magic Kaito Part 2B. This one reviewing the last 12 episodes of the Magic Kaito anime. First, start with episode number 13, which is an adaptation. Now I should point out, the last remaining episodes cover stuff that actually, some of them stuff has been covered before in the specials. But yeah, these chapters to cover for the last episodes. 13 covers chapter 7. 14 covers 21, 5 covers chapter 2, yes, chapter 2, 16 covers Case Closed, chapters 453 to 456, 17 covers chapter 20, of course, the Magic Cow manga, 18, 19, 25, and 26, 20, 27, 28, 21, 66, 31, 64, 22, chapter 22, and for 2024, covers 31 and 33. Yep. This first one, basically, is one that I actually had wanted, basically. Now, I wanted to see exactly what the interpretation of this particular one was, because this one they made a few changes to. This one is Get Away From Him. That's the name of the episode, Get Away From Him. Or at least, Stay Away From Him. Yep, this one was kind of fun. It's mostly presented writing-wise, story, it's pretty much exactly the same. They do make some changes. The first change, when they announced the whole thing of the masquerade ski thing. Now, in the original special, when this was adapted in, they did it outside, in the snow, when it was freezing cold. Here they changed it where it's inside. This change I don't mind. They do make another change. Mostly the episode proceeds pretty much the same exact way as from that point forward up until they get to Masquerade itself. Where, when they reveal the character Fuju, who in the original one basically had a thing for Akko, and she had like a present for her. The present's nowhere to be seen in this episode, by the way. He dresses up as the Kaito kid, while Aho dresses up as her father. Well, this is actually made a change where it's outside this time, instead of being inside of a cabin. So, Kaito switches clothes with him. He becomes a bear. Now, this is a minor change. The bear costume, body-wise, looks exactly the same. The only difference is the mask. Yes, and they also noticed the change, like, after the routine. Their routine is always not until they start the next routine that Akko notices. Now, in the case of the whole thing with Kaito and Aho doing their routine where Kaito dressed up as the Kaito kid, and of course Aho was dressed up as Princess Namaru. Mostly proceeds pretty much the same. They do basically do not have the line here of her saying to Kaito, "Did you touch my butt?" Yeah, because she's already said it already, so don't need to repeat the line again. And then pretty much after the routine, which is pretty much the same as it was in the special, the thing ends very differently than it did in the original special. The special, and I actually like this particular thing in the original special, where where Akko unwraps the present for Fuju, and it's 6-inch figure of her. Of course, she also has a bunch of presents. They actually do not have the ending this time. This time the ending is basically Aho going back to her house and her father's basically drunk. I'm almost surprised they didn't include that one this time, but I get the fact, yes, Annual Pages 1 basically a little bit different, but I would have kept the present thing because I thought that was interesting. Part of the special. Yep. Now, for episode 14. Mostly, this one proceeds pretty much almost exactly the same. Now, the opening is different. They don't have the scene where in the special where Kaito is meeting the queen in her car. Here, it's referenced that happened off screen. Let's see. Aside from that, well, they do make a couple other changes. One, they don't have the cat scratching up Kaito's face while looking for the jewel, which is actually in the inspector's glass. And mostly proceeds. Now, the only change they made this one that was not in the special is that Snake, who was in this one, he actually does not crash into the wall of the tunnel. He just falls off the train, though he still lives surprisingly. Though it comes in a very hilarious fashion, but yes. Mostly wise, this episode mostly proceeds. Also, they don't have the character Alice in here. Yeah, they don't have her here at all, and Snake doesn't pose as her. That is actually a really big change. They make the character Alice is nowhere to be seen, and she plays with this other guy who is basically just a bodyguard, and he's not, well, Prince Philip's teacher. Nope. I was a little surprised they don't include her in this one. Yeah, but something they don't add her in here. Next comes The Princess and the Thief's Improv. This one, from what I remember watching it, it's mostly the same. From what I can tell, I mean, there's not really much difference here, except there's no hilarious thing. Well, from what I can tell, they don't have Kaito wearing the sash that the princess wears. And the princess wears a sash the whole episode. In the original one, she just wear it. But also, when the Kaito went outside wearing the jewel, while having the jewel with him, it was not wearing his neck. But mostly wise, this one surprisingly looks, with the exception of the different animation style, it looks pretty much exactly the same. There's not really much big change. Well, the only change I can think of they made with this one is that they had it where the reason why when they had this inspector guy, Dalton, fires his gun off, and of course her being upset by it. Yeah, it's basically some minor changes, but not really any big ones. At least they gave a reason why that, well, the inspector's outside, some random, oh yeah, he's outside for some reason. Yeah. Next comes Kid vs. Conan, The Miraculous Mid-Air Walk. This one, I was very disappointed with this one. Now, I actually really enjoyed the original special the original episode that adapted for the Case Goes anime. This one was very disappointing. It's like they cut out like about 50% of the damn story. I mean, yes, the beginning is completely original, where Kaito basically finds out about this, and it's pretty much very similar to how, of course, he's actually watching Serena's, well, cousin/uncle, well, basically showing off the fact he's on his motorcycle. The only change they made this thing, aside from kind of 50% of the damn story, is that Lupin is nowhere to be seen. Yeah, there's no explanation why Alien Pictures cut him out. I mean, they're adapting this particular chapter, basically retold from Kaito's perspective, but could at least keep in Lupin, the adorable dog who wears the aviator's helmet. Nope, they decided to cut him out for some strange reason, but mostly it proceeds mostly the same, except that the airwalk does not happen in this episode. You see a brief thing of it, and then it's like next thing, oh yeah, apparently he's already taken the thing, and then just say, oh yeah, this is not my thing, and of course he got himself as the old man. Yeah. It's a weak episode. Yeah, it's by far the weakest episode of the whole series. Then we have The Green Dream. This was actually another episode that was actually adapted from Chet that was not adapted for the original one. Yeah, this one basically cows after this emerald, which apparently is the world's largest emerald. Yeah, the thing is basically the size of my hand. Yep. And of course, Kaito is basically working as a part-timer at this play at this theater, and he notices that one of the actresses is being bullied by another woman, and notices a woman later by herself, and she notices that she's practicing lines without a script, and she's really really good. She knows basically who she is, and guess of course he's a magician. He knows how to entertain people, and just don't be nervous. And of course he basically mentions how she would get over her nerves is that she sees the whole audience as pumpkins. Okay, and of course he finds out where she is. She's basically a role as Servant A, and then of course the Kaito Kid comes in. Kind of changes the whole thing a bit, and apparently the audience, even the director of the play, loves it. Where it's like, oh, say hello to Servant A, and of course the mean princess, and of course the diva who bullied her. So he does a little quick change out of this ugly outfit that she's basically being a servant, and put in this gorgeous pink dress, and she's singing, and she's damn good, and the director loves it. And the only reason why that this woman who's a diva is allowed to be the main character is because her father owns damn theater. That's the only reason why, despite that she's probably not that good of an actress anyways. And so it goes over like a hitch, and of course, he makes interest by snatching the thing, and show up as like, oh, well, look up at the moonlight, like, nope, not what I'm looking for, and he puts and this is something really interesting. They actually have the emerald on a ring for some reason. I'm kind of like, now I have never seen a ring like this in real life. I've seen many different rings. I've never seen a ring with a big, humongous jewel in it. Yes, an emerald. In case you're wondering, is my emerald my birthstone? No, it's a diamond. Look it up. April basically is a diamond. Yep. So, puts on that finger, and of course, basically also this is after he gave her quick change. Yeah. This is actually the second time he actually in the series. It's only the third time he did in the series, and the second woman he ever did it to. As far as I know, he's never done it to any other woman ever in the whole series, where he's given a quick change to. Like first he gives it to the woman he loves, and then he gives it to the woman he meets that very day, who's a great woman anyways. And of course he meets the prince, and the play goes off a hitch, and the inspector basically is like, well, they of course claim it possibly could have been an illusion, could have been some actor, could have been the Kaito kid, but yeah, Kaito kid didn't technically steal this one. Just look at the thing and just, well, that was basically it. It's a really good episode. I do recommend basically who are fans of going to plays. I have gone to many plays. My favorite play I've actually gone to, I've seen this one a few times, is going to see Phantom Yaba. Really love this one. Yep. Just trying to fix him here. Ah, there we go. That's better. I'm not sure why in the world it was like that. Yep. Now I'll move on to 18 and 19, The Golden Eye. This one mostly, I do appreciate the fact that this one actually is a two-parter. Like the special was a standalone episode. Mostly put, this one proceeds most of the same. They do make some changes. One, they add a new character named Carter, who apparently is the head of security for this hotel that this particular jewel that they're after is in. That's one change they made. Another is, and this is one I really appreciate this change because I did not like this in the original special, was when they had where Aho and Kaito basically brought the inspector his dinner. And I'm thinking, no, this is a hotel. I'm sure there's a place where there's a table and chairs. He does not need to sit on the damn floor. Like, that was one thing I did not like about this special that originally adapted this particular one. Which, let's see, since this is episode number 18 and 19, I'm going to on here, notes right here. 18 and 19. Yeah, this was adapted for special number 10. Yeah, this one they actually have him eating on a table. Mostly proceeds mostly the same, except Kaito was standing at this table behind the inspector, and Aho was sitting at the table where her father, basically his table's got two chairs. I have seen tables like this, so this is nothing unusual. This type of table does exist in real life. It's a small, low table, and it only has two chairs around it. Occasionally you could fit like two more, make it like a four-person table, but it would be very cramped on the table. But mostly this is a two-person table. Yeah, and this change I really accept. Yeah, the only change they made for this one is they actually have a reason why Jill was on the plane giving Chet Noir, who was basically Ruby Jones, which mostly now they do cut kind of one scene here that they show in flashback. They don't show Aho basically interacting with Chet Noir in this one. Well, not in regular time. They show it in a brief flashback. And of course, you have Carter there, which he was not in the original conversation, the original special. Yeah, and it's mostly the same. And they actually do show in this one the guy who was the owner of these jewels, basically him opening up the vault. They actually showed up this time instead of just mentioning it where it happened off screen. Yeah. This one, I really accept the change of this one. Also, they gave Joe a reason why he's on the plane. Basically, he's going to see Paraseid's collection, which Habaru basically is there too, just by sheer coincidence. Yeah, unlike in the specials, he's there just to track down Spider, which, by the way, that character is only original to those specials only. He does not appear in this whole series. Yeah, the Assassin Spider is nowhere to be seen in the series. I'm kind of glad because the character was completely useless. He only physically fought the Kaito Kid twice. Yeah. And is basically... Here's the thing about this character. This character essentially put a ripoff of the Scarecrow. That essentially put what this character is. He's a ripoff of the Scarecrow from DC Comics. I'm surprised anyone pictures getting sued by DC Comics for literally ripping off the Scarecrow's thing, except instead of using fear gas, he uses frickin' technology to make people have nightmares. Ugh, I didn't really care for this thing. Yeah, I didn't really care for the character, but yeah, the character himself is nowhere to see in the series. The Golden Eye is a really good one. Then comes the Dark Knight. Okay, this one was up there for the last special. This one most proceeds exactly the same, except they did make one big change this one. If you've probably seen the special, they only show Nightmare in silhouette. They don't show his mask. This one, they actually changed the color of the mask this time because in the original special it was gold. This one's black. And for some reason, the sub refers to him as Chuck, even though his name is Jack. I don't know. And there's something about the sub. Basically, I'll talk about that once I finish talking about it. Yeah, this one mostly proceeds the same. There's aside from the mask change and the not seeing silhouettes, it proceeds mostly the same. There's not really much change to this one. Not really, no, except they actually trimmed out the scene of when Jack reveals himself as, well, Nightmare. Aside from that, it proceeds mostly the same. Yeah, except some changes here and there. Then we have Cody Kid versus Conan Teleportation of the Magic. This one, no really made change here. It's just pretty much exactly the same, except partially retold from Kaito's perspective. Yeah, the whole opening is completely original to the anime, where Kaito just basically just having breakfast at Aho's house, and he's just basically eating a piece of toast, and he finds out about the shoes, and basically the old man Sasuke, his challenge to him, and the guy has very little time to prepare for this, but pulls off grand fashion. Mostly put, this one proceeds pretty much the same, except it's really condensed. But yeah, not really much change in this one. Nope. Then we have the red tier. This one, there is some change in this one, and I don't have a really big problem with these changes. One change they do make, well, when they have Jody appear on here, they just have briefly appear in some newspaper article appear on the smartphone, and they don't appear on like a news. And they do kind of change like the direction of the mugger when she takes Aho's purse. Yeah, apparently it's running the same direction. And of course Joy takes it back, and of course pretty much her motivation is pretty much the same. They do make a change to the character Paul. Paul, they do change his magic tricks in this one. Yeah, this one, when they show Paul on the stage, he's making the whole wine glass disappear and eat, basically making like grapes. Of course, they do make a change that was kind of referenced in the specials, like, oh, what was Paul? Basically you all along. And in the original special, that was basically all Paul doing genuine magic. And in the case of this one, Paul is tied up in a bathroom. Why in the world they don't really include the scene of the Kaito Kid meeting up with Paul before the show? Never explained. And mostly put after that, it proceeds mostly the same, except the ending of the episode is slightly different than how it was. It also, they don't have Jill basically in the room, basically messing with the rotation thing, this rotating restaurant. Yeah, they don't show that here. Yeah, I don't think he's even in the episode, surprisingly. No, he's not. And him basically canceling, they do give kind of a reason why he canceled his heist. Yeah, they actually have a reason why. Because of his father's respect. Because his father was a student of James Hopper. He did not want to steal something that belonged to his family. Yeah, aside from that, the only change I can think they made... Oh yeah, Paul is not included in the finale when they finish defeating Snake and throw him out the window. He is not included in this particular scene. Yeah, and it's something, though, that the Kaito Kid does not reveal the whole motivation of why he's doing this to Jody. I would think she would understand, despite the fact, yes, he is a thief, and he's protecting somebody he cares about, but I kind of wish that he would have... Now, as far as I can tell, the only characters confirmed in the series that know the Kaito Kid, that he does talk to the Kaito Kid is really Kaito, is just Jill, his mother, and Akko knows, but he frequently denies it to her face, frequently, despite the fact she already knows the fact he's Kaito Kid. And that's really it for people who know who the Kaito Kid really is. Yeah, but mostly it receives with the exception of minor changes. I mean, like I said, the only major change they made with this episode was Paul. Yeah, but it's a really good episode. Next comes a two-parter that actually was adapted from chapters that were never adapted for the main series. Nope. For the specials, yeah, it's the adaptation of the second and most recent caper they had in the manga. They introduced a character named Kaburo, who was referred to as Kaito Kaburo, who, simply put, is like the Kaito Kid, except dressed in black instead of white. And it's all about stealing this particular jewel called the Midnight Crow. Snake appears in this two-parter, and they also reveal his trick, where they think that the crow stole it, but nope, he just basically had a block of ice, painted block with the coin inside. Yeah, but the episode they kind of hint at the possibly that the Kaibaro might be, because appearance wise might be his father alive somehow. They don't really explain it. Yeah, it's not really dealt upon, and also apparently in this two-parter that Kaito reached the end of, well, his father's advice disc thing. And of course his mother shows up in this last episode at his house. Yeah, the character has been absent for most of the series. Yeah, it's explained she's out of the country. And she feels guilty about something now. In the manga, she's here pretty much all the time. Oh yeah, she's cooking like dinner for Kaito, and then she just leaves. She has like one scene in this whole episode, which is something. Yep, and and the episode ends in the most unusual way possible, like where they have Habaru, the high school detective, Ako, Aho, and Kaito form a club to take down the Kaito Kid. That's how the series ends, with the formation of a team. Okay, I like this. Now, I like the fact these four characters interact with each other, because if you notice the whole series, Ako, who interacts but barely interacts with the high school detective. Also, she's appeared in more episodes than he has. She's appeared for 12 episodes, mostly half the series. He's appeared for 6 episodes. Yep. Excuse me, yeah. Overall, really good series. There is one thing I didn't like about the change they made for the sub. They kept referring to the Kaito Kid, basically, if you look at the subtitles, I'm not going to mention the site I watched on. Well, I changed it to Kid the Phantom Thief. Even though you can hear in the sub, you can hear them say Kaito Kid, and yet when it translates, it says Kid the Phantom Thief. I have no idea why. They do the same thing with the Kaibaro too. It was Kaibaro the Phantom Thief. I'm like, seriously, it's Kaito Kaibaro. Yeah. But final thoughts on this particular series. This series is really, really good. Yes. I would say, with the exception of one episode, this is a really damn good series. Unknown the reasoning why this series ended after only one season. My personal theory is maybe because of low ratings in Japan. Another reason possibly is because, well, the DVD sales for the series probably didn't do too well. That's only personal theory, but they adapted a lot of the manga for this series. They adapted, now, the manga is released in the past 32 years, 36 chapters. This one adapted all but 10 chapters. Yeah, and something they also adapted 3 cases from Case Closed. Which is something, I'm surprised they actually did that. Though, of the 3 of them, the first one was really good. It definitely did tie into the whole thing with the Phantom Lady. Of course, they do reference that in the final episode. The Miraculous Airwalk thing, I was so disappointed with this one because I loved the original one better. Because that was a damn good hour-long episode. The last one was actually still pretty good as well, still just as good as the original one. You know, the ending is pretty much, even though the opening is pretty much original to the thing. It's pretty much proceeds mostly the same as it was presented, but it's a really damn good episode. Yeah. So, in the case of Magic Kaito, the only thing left to go is just, well, the 2 OVAs the series had. And that's basically it. Now, am I going to review the 10 chapters that the series skipped? Maybe. It depends upon my mood. Yeah, it's something, though, that they never finished up in the manga for the series. But, unlike other series I watch, where when you get to the final episode, it's an anime original, this one surprisingly doesn't do that. It's actually the second series I've seen like this, where they end the series, and even though they don't finish out the manga, at least they don't end on a filler episode. Yes, that's really been the problem whenever I get to a final episode of a series, and whenever they don't finish out the manga, they generally just do a filler episode to end the series. Yes, a filler episode. For this series, they don't do that, which I do appreciate. That's a really smart move on the part of A1 Pictures. Like I said, the same company that makes Fairy Tail, Seven Deadly Sins, and did the first season for 8 seasons. This is roughly the 4th series I've watched that they did. This series could also have been done by Madhouse, because the style is very similar to Madhouse. Yeah, surprised Madhouse never take up the rights to make this series, because I'm sure they have a blast making it, and they probably give a similar tone, the similar style they gave the Death Note. Yeah. But not much else to say. Magic Hour 14 Television is a really damn good series. Okay, so that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned for a comic corner I'm going to do next on 2 DC trades. You'll find out what they are in the next video. Okay, see you there. Bye.